Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love, and hey, everybody knows that the general is right there, Attorney Greg Jackson.
Once again, it's on, Brother Love. Hey, you know how we get this thing started, man. How was this weekend for you?
Weekend was good, Greg. You know, I was down in Miami, man, and
Okay.
and never saw the sun shine one time from Thursday through Saturday.
You didn't see the forecast?
We had a meeting down there, so that couldn't change for me, man.
Listen,
So
they told you just ain't believe them, huh?
hey, man, I got to tell you though, the meeting was the gathering. It had individuals, man, from all over the country. I got to give it up to Dr. Ingram. She had her fingers on the pulse, man, and it was talking more so about the faith community and its role in business, economics, social issues.
Okay.
And Greg, did one of your numbers that it wasn't pinpointed on emotion. It was pinpointed on everything that impacts and guides our life from, from business to social to really even drilling down, man, to responsible fatherhood.
Hey, listen, sound like some good topics, man.
Man, some great topics, man. And so I got to give it up to Dr. Ingram and the folk that just traveled from near far. And she's based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. Greg, Mecklenburg.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, man, I'm messing
Is that in North Carolina?
I don't believe she's, man, I got to get her information together. But Greg, she did a fantastic job. Dr. Nelson, of course, he moderated a session and he was a panelist. Some bad folk there, man. Bishop Smith out of Charleston.
Okay.
And I got to give it up for Kenny Smith, man. And he's out of Mecklenburg too, man. The brother is sharp. So you asked me how my weekend was, and Greg, even though the sun didn't shine in Miami,
I got you.
It was great. How about yours, man?
Oh, no, man, just rest and relaxation, man, because I stayed out of the weather.
The R&R?
Listen, they said it was going to be stormy out there, man, and I believe them. I did get out and get a chance to do like a little quick photo shoot or whatever like that, but aside from that, just had a chance to relax. I went to, now, Brother Love, a couple of years ago, we were on the radio station 94.5, and we had a gentleman that came on that was a part of the Solar Bears. And I got inspired, and I got me some Solar Bear tickets. So I'm a season ticket holder for the Solar Bears. And last night ended up going to a Solar Bear game. And so as I'm headed to the game, I get a text that the 6 o'clock start time for the game has been pushed to 7 o'clock. So everybody's standing outside. They won't even let people into the Amway Arena. And everybody's standing around. So I kind of just asked, hey, what's going on? And what ended up happening was because of the storm, there was a generator that blew out, and the ice melted in the arena or in the Amway Arena. And so, we had to walk around a little bit because I had my team out there because I was trying to, give them some rah-rah moments because, they worked hard and got ready for trial and stuff like that. And so, went a couple of different places and came back and they were finally letting people in. All right. And I didn't realize how late it was. So they didn't start letting people in until 8 o'clock. So remember, the game was supposed to start at 6 o'clock. They started letting people in at 8 o'clock. So we get in, we're sitting in the little box where I have my seats and everything like that. And as we are sitting there, all of a sudden an announcement comes across. The game is canceled. The game is canceled. So we've been sitting there. I mean, first off, I've been waiting for almost 2 hours to get into the arena, and then they come on and say the game is canceled. They should have just canceled it when they figured out that the generator that kept the ice under the floor solid. They should have just canceled the game, man.
Greg, when you said that the generator went out, the first thing that I thought about, since they moved it from 6 to 7, are they gonna freeze that floor that quick?
No. And apparently they had gotten started earlier in the day, but if I remember right, if I take some ice cubes and put them in my refrigerator, it's gonna take some hours to do that. That ain't no fast paced deal, man.
Greg, you hipped us to the Solar Bears, like you said, and the guest that we had was Jason Siegel.
Jason Siegel, that's right.
And
that's right.
You started teaching me some stuff. I mean, I don't watch hockey.
Yeah.
But then you started teaching me some stuff about the penalty box.
Oh yeah.
So Greg, you say if you sent to the penalty box, how many guys are on the court on the ice at one time?
I want to say 6 guys plus the goalie on the ice at any given time.
So if
And
I get a
so-
penalty against me,
Yeah.
what? Let the audience know. See, we got to
listen. You get a penalty against you. First off, you got to assume that Brother Love gonna stand up on them skates. That's the first thing you got to assume out the box. So let's assume Brother Love's out there on the skates, and he gets a little trouble. He's slashing somebody with his hockey stick. They're gonna put you in the box for 2 minutes, and for 2 minutes your team is without you. And so for for the team that is without a player, they're at the disadvantage. The other team is called the power play because they have more players than the other team. Now there are times when the team that has fewer players will score, and they call that a hat trick. So it does happen, but it's very, I shouldn't say it's very rare. It's a fun game to watch when it does happen.
And it's interesting because you educated me about hockey, but just imagine, because it all goes back to teamwork.
Yeah.
Just imagine if in the NFL, if a player got a penalty and was put in the box, and then you got one receiver that's uncovered.
Listen, apply that to any sport that we watch. Apply it to basketball.
Basketball too, you're right.
Apply it to baseball. Your center fielder does something crazy. You got to pull your center fielder out. What they going to do? They're going to be hitting everything in the center field, or they're going to be trying to draw the person from the left or right over to another area.
You're right. And you know what I'm thinking, Greg, and this is crazy, but in basketball, I would have my strategy would be to just put my big men to guard out from folk driving the court. Yeah, you might hit me all day with the threes, but you're not coming to get the easy ones. Baseball, I'm with you 100%. I'm not a baseball expert on that, but football, you can't cover an open receiver. That's a bomb all day.
All day long. All day long. Yeah, listen, man, all day long. But listen, Brother Love, speaking of tackling folks and roughing folks up, we got to talk about this story that just hit the presses. For those who may have been following this story, back in, I want to say February or March of 2023, Jonathan Majors, who is an actor, a very talented actor, has been getting a lot of acclaim, African-American actor. He was in Creed 3 with Michael B. Jordan. He also has a role in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So his name was starting to get out there. Been in several movies for some time, young guy. And so he was out with his girlfriend, and something happened. He and his girlfriend got into a spat. And the immediate story was that he battered his girlfriend. And so he was brought up on charges. But this was in New York, so that he didn't necessarily go to jail. But they let him out until he had his trial, and his trial was just this past week. And so the allegations was assault and harassment. And I saw the video, Brother Love, and before I saw the video, I was a little, you just never know, because what the story that had come out before everyone saw the video is that they had been arguing and that she, had assaulted him. It's kind of how it came out. But when you saw the video, one of the telltale things that I saw that immediately gave me some moment of pause and concern about this case for this young man is that when he exited an expedition, the young lady got out of the car with him. And instead of him, moving on and keep going, he pushed her back first. All right, that was the first. That was the first unlawful touching, if you ask me. That's how they look at it. She came at him again, and then he picked her up and he thrust her into the back of the vehicle, and that's where I think the case for him kind of went left, because even after that, he proceeded to leave. She ran after him. She grabbed his arm. He pushed her again.
I saw that on the video. Yeah,
he pushed her again, and then he went running down the street. Now, a lot of untrained minds on this topic said, well, what victim chases the person that assaulted them? And I saw it a little bit differently. I saw it a little bit differently. I saw that she had been assaulted, of what could be considered to be an assault. But I also saw that he was running home and she was trying to get home because that's where apparently she lived also or something.
With him? Okay.
Because the following day, Brother Love, I don't know if you saw this video of the following day, the New York police were called to his apartment. And when they went up into the apartment, she was laid out flat in a closet. And the New York police came in and they took videos and they showed that she had a cut behind her ear. She had a broken finger. And now you have this video of what took place. And so I became very concerned about this case for Jonathan Majors, because I said this, if this jury sees this the way that the law says that it should be looked at, I can see how this can be assault.
Yeah,
I personally could see it, and I took away, the other stuff about she was assaulting him and this, that, and another, because it was precipitated after an event that happened inside of the vehicle, which we didn't see. And so today, a jury of Mr. Major's peers, if we can call him that, and we will call him that. Let me not air quote that, because as a officer of the court, I am not going to denigrate our judicial system and say that we don't have one of the best, if not the best system of judicial justice in the world. And so a jury of his peers determined that Jonathan Major was guilty of assault and harassment today.
Great. Well, those two, and if you would explain, those were misdemeanor offenses that they found them.
Those were misdemeanor offenses. But even with misdemeanor offenses, his sentence can be up to a year in jail.
Oh, okay.
So it's only after a year and 1 day when it becomes a felony. But he still can potentially serve some jail time, Brother Love. But that, in my mind, is the least of his worries.
Oh,
that's the least of his worries.
From a work standpoint,
yeah.
I hate to say it, but from a work standpoint, those movies that you just identified, they're running far away from them.
Well, listen, I mean, in this Me Too society, and I'm not saying that Me Too to denigrate anyone who accurately reports something that has happened, but the reason why I say it that way is because a lot of folks' antenna are, and it's what you intimated, Brother Love. It's because now he was a part of the Marvel universe. And listen, you become a part of the Marvel universe, you're set for life. I mean, look at what it did for Robert Downey Jr.'s career. Look what it did for the gentleman that plays the Hulk. Who is it, Brother Armando, that plays the Hulk? Malcolm. You must be a DC. You must be a DC guy. He a DC guy. Turn back around, man. I don't talk to DC guys. But anyways, that's all good. But but just look at the people whose career. Listen, look at Samuel L. Jackson.
You're right.
His whole career.
Greg, what character does he play in the Marvel? It's come on, man, with the patch over his eye.
Golly, now as soon as you ask me, I forget the name.
Hey, but you're spot on. But let me throw a fastball at you.
Yeah.
And
before you throw the fastball now, because the reason why I'm mentioning that he was a part of the Marvel universe is because now today, after a conviction on a misdemeanor, Brother Love, on a misdemeanor, Marvel has now dropped him from the Marvel universe.
So they've done that immediately.
And listen, the Marvel universe makes billions of dollars per, well, let me say at least hundreds of $millions per movie. They have their flops are $100 million movies.
And they turn these things into series.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Nick Fury is Samuel L. Jackson's character.
And then they branch off to other Marvel characters.
And other shows. I mean, look at now the guy who plays Loki, which is Thor's brother. He has his own thing. Look at
Aquaman.
Watch out.
That's
look here. Don't. There's about to be some trouble up there. Y'all keep hollering out these DC antics now. It's gonna be some trouble up in here.
But Greg, the other thing, and to your point, is not only are they doing big screen, but you see Netflix and all these other studios that are doing. I don't know, Greg. What do you call them? These series?
But Disney Plus. Remember, Disney Plus is picking up on this, and let's take a step back now, and let's be fair about this. DC is not making $100 million movies now.
He's sticking up. He's sticking up for Marvel.
I'm a Marvel guy. Listen, I'm a Marvel. Listen, from the time I came up, I had one of the first X-Men comics, man. So listen, I'm Marvel all the way. So
he's sticking up for that. But the fastball I was going to throw at you, and this is one of those deals that
hello.
I hate to use similar or like.
Yeah,
but when you talk about image and likeness, P. Diddy, he just settled with Casey. I can't remember her last name.
Cassie. Yeah.
And
listen, that was the world's fastest settlement I've ever seen in my life. She filed the suit, and within an hour, it came across. She must have had something on him.
$30 million suit.
She had to have something on him.
And Doc.
But no, a $30 million suit.
You got me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. What you got, Doc?
Okay, so we talk about Anthony Mackie and
Anthony Mackie. That's his name. Yeah.
Who is Anthony Mackie?
He's the guy that plays. Is it Hawk or the Falcon?
He plays the Falcon.
But he's not going to be the new Captain America, right? Aren't they going to pass the torch to him as Captain America now?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we Marvel all the way too over here.
Thank you. You hear Brother Love tried to put Aquaman in the Marvel universe, right?
Man, Aquaman.
Hey, you can say what you want, but y'all still watching. Y'all better believe. Hey, the
Aquaman is
general's
the
still
only
watching that
DC
stuff
guy.
too.
The rest of, well, I can't say that because the last Superman was pretty good.
So Superman is DC, Greg.
Yeah, listen. I mean, who didn't like? Who don't like Superman?
Hey, who is the Flash with? Since y'all going down this path,
DC.
And with DC,
And that was a horrible movie. That was a horrible movie. I can't even bring myself to think about it.
okay, Spider Man.
Spider-Man is Marvel, but Spider-Man was because there was a convergence with Spider-Man because he was with Sony, now he's with Disney, but that had nothing to do with DC. The Incredible Hulk, at one point in time was DC if I remember, but now he's Marvel.
Okay, all right. Okay, I got you. All right, you. I'll let you win.
Marvel did buy the rights to and converted them. This was back in the 80s, though.
But no, remember that's when Ed Thornton Jr. played the Hulk. It was DC when he played the Hulk.
Yeah, right.
And then so think about this. Look what DC did to the Hulk, and then look what Marvel has done with the Hulk.
Okay, but who gave birth to all of them?
And he's passed away now, right? Stanley.
No,
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
I'm talking about the Marvel universe as we have it. What character did it start with?
Voodoo Man.
Who?
Don't worry about it.
It started with Blade. Blade
Talking about Wesley.
Yeah, the Vampire Hunter.
Wesley Snipes.
Right.
Yeah, the Daywalker.
Because of the box office, they saw that this genre could now hold its own. Because remember,
You mean like you talking about like the modern day movies and things like that?
Right. Well, you have to get in some of the Marvel chat groups, and they've led it back to the fact that Blade series is what made people realize, hey, turning comic book heroes into movies could work real well.
Now, let's be fair on this one, Doc, because remember, and I'm gonna give credit to Blade now, but let's take a step back because remember in the '70s, Superman with Christopher Reeves, was
Right.
big, but then after Christopher Reeves passed away, there was a drop in comic book movies, and so I think I'm gonna go with you on this that Blade revitalized what people saw that comic book movies could do because I mean,
Right.
Superman with Christopher Reeves, and remember they even had Richard Pryor on one of those too.
Yeah, I remember.
But they were.
Greg, you go way back. You remember Christopher Reeves?
Remember?
That got paralyzed in a horseback.
riding incident. Yeah.
But remember, Blade, not Blade, but Batman with Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
Well, yeah, you're talking about with Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
And now this is the only credit, and I don't know how we got into talking about these comic book movies. I think thanks to Jonathan Majors for getting convicted today. But listen, the only highlight, Doc Polite and Brother Love of Flash and Brother Armando is the fact that he went into a parallel universe, and the Batman in the parallel universe was Michael Keaton.
See, we can't compete with Greg because when you talk about these movies, Greg knows it.
Well, he lost me, so I'm out.
Listen, man, I was stuck on a plane for 4 hours flying back from Vail, Colorado, brother Doc Polite. So I had to do something on that plane, man. And Flash just happened to win. So,
well, but I'm gonna go back to the conversation, Greg, about P. Diddy, and like you said, that was the fastest settlement. And she asked for $30 million originally, but now there's open the door. I mean, I anticipated when I saw the record-breaking time that the media reported that he settled with her. I said, that's opened the door for everybody else to run in it. And lo and behold, you got men coming forth, you got other women coming forth, making allegations, but then you also have 50 Cent. And Doc had mentioned this to me the other day, but 50 Cent is coming forth as it relates to a biography that he's going to release on P. Diddy.
well, he better be careful. And I'm going to tell you, you better be careful for a couple of different reasons. Because if there's any information in that book that is inaccurate and can be skewed towards libel or slander, there's some big verdicts that are being dropped on that. And we'll talk about that in a few moments about what can happen if you say something about someone and it ends up not being true. But going back to Sean Combs, now, Brother Love, there are a lot of reports about how he has these secret parties. and how he records these secret parties with men in these parties and different things like that. And his former bodyguard, Glenn Deal, has been doing the circuit on different podcasts. And I'm not going to mention those podcasts because they don't mention us, and that's, we're going to keep it like that. And so Glenn Deal has been going on to these different podcasts talking about his time with Puffy, with Sean Puff Daddy Combs, and about
what you mean his time? What?
So when he was serving as a bodyguard.
Okay.
And how he would see him in compromising positions with other celebrities of the same sex, and different articles that he would find and different things like that. So this thing with Sean Combs can potentially take a life of its own based off of this lawsuit that Casey filed.
Yeah.
Alleging assault, alleging abuse, and different things like that. And the fact that he settled that case that quickly. Listen, at least fight for a week.
Yeah.
At least fight for a week. I mean, but literally within hours of her filing that complaint, it's settled.
Greg, had you been his counsel, you would have told him to hold off for a little while, right?
I had to see what the evidence showed.
See what
listen, I mean, people said,
and that's good. You're right.
Yeah.
See, but that's why we got,
listen. The thing of it is, I may not have even let it touch the light of day.
Yeah.
Some of the best defense or some of the best representation that you can give to a client is to not let you go into the courtroom sometimes.
Hey, you know what? And I got to take a time of privilege. Greg, man, can you let everybody know how to get a hold of attorney Greg Jackson at the Dan Newland law firm? How can they contact you?
I appreciate that, Brother Love. So once again, Greg Jackson, trial attorney with Dan Newland Injury Attorneys, and you can always reach me, call me, text me, 407-564-6604. I'm more than happy to talk to you about a case. Matter of fact, I had a very interesting case that I was talking to someone about today. A young lady was sentenced today to 25 years in prison. And I got a call from the family over the weekend, and she was getting ready to be sentenced. And so she has a public defender. And I said, well, and they told me, well, listen, she's pregnant. And I was like, well, wait a minute. And I just started going through things. Well, has he thought about this? Has he thought about that? And so she called me today, and she was like, the guy told me that those are some great ideas, that he hadn't even thought about this stuff. And one of the things that I thought about is I said, well, listen, if she's pregnant, and you're saying that she's having trouble getting, prenatal care while she's incarcerated, why is he not asking that she be released at least until such time that she has the baby and has time to go through that process, and even while it's going to be appealed? And I said, because the way that I look at it, I said I make it akin to an ADA issue, Americans with Disability Act's issue, because if she's incarcerated and this facility cannot provide her with adequate resources in order to provide for her while she's in this state, then they need to allow her to go out and to be out until she's able to have the baby. Because you look at this act called EMTALA, which is the Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act. Active Labor Act. There's a disability, which I know, I don't want women to think that you're disabled, but the components of what you go through in pregnancy, I think is akin to having a disability.
See, you helped make my point for me. And on top of that, Greg, you are a personal injury attorney. Now,
but I get calls about all kinds of stuff.
And so you help make the case for me, Greg, from the standpoint of, man, this brother, ladies and gentlemen, is just outright smart. And I'm up here saying, Greg, would you have let P. Diddy make that settlement that quick? Greg already on his feet saying, I might not have even let this come out to see the light of day. So, hey, if you need a good attorney, a great attorney, once again, don't hesitate to contact attorney Greg Jackson. And that number is, once again,
407-564-6604.
So Greg, man, we talked about Jonathan Majors, but did you see the settlement? I thought it was going to be $48 million, but it turned out to be $148 million. And I'm talking about none other than former mayor of New York, Giuliani.
Listen, Brother Love, let me say this right now. People don't understand the trouble that they can get themselves in if they say certain things about a person, and particularly a private individual, or even if it's an elected official or a person who's in the public side, their family. There's serious consequences in court cases for libel or for slander. And this is a lesson that Rudy Giuliani, who, is a barrister, smart guy, was at one point in time a contender for, getting the GOP nod to run for president. So he's no slouch. He was a mayor of New York, one of the largest cities, most well-run, respected cities in the country. And he made statements about two ladies that were false. Now that takes me back to an individual, Brother Love, that made some comments about you and I. And when he started making those comments, Brother Love, the first thing I did was, and you and Doc, y'all say, Greg, you gotta let him live, you gotta let him breathe. And I say, no, I say sometimes, and Doc, you remember this, I say sometimes, even Michael Jordan had to step on the blacktop.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even Kobe Bryant went down to the Rutgers and stepped on the blacktop from time to time because he had to let people know I am who I say I am.
And Greg, something that you did, I'm gonna go ahead and let the audience know. You went ahead and found this individual in another state.
Well, listen, because what he thought he was going to do is he thought that he was going to throw the rock and hide his hand, and because he was out of state, that no one would be able to touch and find him. Well, what he didn't know, and what somebody should have told him, is in addition to being a former assistant attorney general for the state of Florida who had unlimited resources to find things, I'm also a former naval intel. Understand what I'm telling y'all? And I use those skills to my advantage whenever I need to. And so this guy who thought that he couldn't be touched and couldn't be found, I just politely went and I found that I used some resources that I have at my disposal, and I was able to find him. Yeah, I was able to find him. And I sent him a very nice cease and desist letter.
Well, Greg, on that point, and
let me be clear about this, Brother Love. If he had not ceased and desisted, we would have had us $100 million verdict too.
what does that do to somebody who can't pay a dime of that?
Listen, what you do is you continue to get judgment liens on them so they can't get nothing for the rest of their life.
So that leads me to what I'm about to respond
unless
to.
he's O.J. Simpson and has a football pension that we
yeah,
can't touch.
Yeah.
Anything, let him buy a house and try to sell it.
Greg, I done got this hit twice since you started that conversation. And the question is, when is government going to catch up to social media about slander?
It needs to catch up quick. And I think that needs to be probably one of the next big issues that's taken up, in the Florida legislature. Listen, Florida legislature leads in so many ways in terms of things that are done here in the state and across this country. And I think that if the Florida legislature took up a bill that would address bullying, would address slander, would address harassment online, I think that's something that would pick up and that would catch on.
Greg, I didn't mean to go here because, man, once we start this show, it goes by fast. But I have to pump the brakes, man, and kind of deviate.
What you got?
When we talk about slander and social media, then the first thing people talk about is their First Amendment right, freedom of speech. Greg, and I know you've already answered this question, but I guess where I'm going is, man, do you think people would be as free as they are to slander individuals if they had to come back full circle and either show the evidence to protect themselves from slander so that their homes, their pensions, their savings wouldn't be put in jeopardy? Do you think they would be as free to slander folk if they knew that they either had to prove what they were saying or this was going to come to bear on them?
I mean, they already have to prove what they were saying. If someone brings a libel suit against you in the court of law, one of the only defenses to libel is if it's the truth. The other thing, too, is that if you say, hey, in my opinion, but there's only so much that you can continually say, hey, this is my opinion, this is my opinion. But, the one defense, to libel is if it is a true statement, if it is the truth. That's why I say, a lot of times, people better be careful. And in this particular case, Rudy Giuliani was saying a lot of things about these two election workers in the state of Georgia, saying that they were counting ballots or double counting ballots and, doing all types of things with the ballots. It got to the point, Brother Love, and I didn't know this until I started kind of following this trial, but it got to the point to where these ladies were getting death threats and people calling them and threatening them because of the stuff that Rudy Giuliani had said. And because of that, a jury came back and they said, not only did we find you guilty and responsible for your liable statements, but now you have to pay $148 million. And that's, listen, man, I know Rudy Giuliani probably has a pension, but I know his pension ain't covering $148 million.
And Greg, interesting. You've had the talking heads that have been responding, and folks say, what's the possibility of these folks seeing a dime of that? And so a couple of the legal talking heads were basically saying, hey, look, Giuliani wants to get from under because he has a lot of attorneys that he owes money to as well. And, he was basically saying, hey, he has this penthouse in New York that he's been trying to sell for $6 point some odd million. This settlement with these women, I mean, there may be, I don't know, and you know this stuff better than I do, but a negotiated settlement, and who knows, it ain't going to be anywhere close. I mean, in my opinion, Greg, anywhere near $1 million.
So, I mean, listen, let's take into account Alex Jones. And remember, Alex Jones was hit with a verdict for the Sandy Hook, issue, and he was talking about it didn't happen and all this other stuff. And that's another instance of when your words cost you money. And the jury came back, I want to say it was almost $1 billion verdict against him. And just recently I heard that he's trying to settle with them for $55 million.
At $5 million over a period of time.
Right. And so realistically what happens is with these verdicts, the person does not have the money to pay. Remember, O.J. Simpson got hit with a $33 million verdict with the Goldman family. They're still waiting on their money. Yeah. But there's certain things like, if he has like certain memorabilia, they can force him to sell certain things.
Because it's not protected by his trust.
Right. So they can force sale of certain items or take certain items as a part of a judgment that they have against them. Now, you have to jump through certain hoops to do it. But there are ways to get to satisfy certain judgments. But for those people who can't pay, normally you just have a judgment that hangs over their head. But who wants a judgment hanging over their head, especially if you got a fool like me, where it's just like, listen, I had a guy, Brother Love, and I hope he ain't out of prison yet because this is crazy. I had a guy who was in prison, and it was a case that I had, and I was still like 5 years into the practice of law. And so the guy was suing a facility that I was representing, saying that something had happened and it was a medical malpractice. And so I basically got it tossed out. He appealed to the first DCA over in Tallahassee. I did my appellate brief and all this other stuff, and I beat him in that also. And it had, and I think it was remanded back to the state court or something because something happened. So what he would do is he would send me pleadings. But get what he would do. On the pleadings, on the outside of the envelope, he would write threatening messages on there.
What?
And so I started getting this. So I took it up with the judge. And I said, Judge, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing that. And I got a judgment against him, Brother Lowe, to where any money that hit his commissary that was mine.
Hey, you know what? That takes me here though, Greg. And again, I feel, hey.
No cigarette money.
Hey, this is a special show tonight.
No cookie money.
Greg, the name of your show coming up in 2024 is I Got Time Today.
I Got Time Today.
And Greg, I know that you're a personal injury attorney, but I know personally I've referred 2 or 3 people to you who want you to take up this slander piece that, and I don't know, man, if that's a niche, but Greg does it so doggone well to where he gets those folk attention.
See, man, but see, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I did that one for sport.
You did? Oh, no.
Listen, I did.
Hey, he worse than 50 Cent. Yeah, okay, and you're right.
But no, remember, I told you in Doc. I told y'all. I said, let me get him. I said, don't y'all say a word. Let me get him, because I said I had to teach this guy a lesson. So for me, I did that one for sport. That was just fun for me.
Hey, Mondo and Doc. Greg would tell me when this person started direct messaging us, and he said, Brother Love, do not respond. And so, Greg, hey man, that's another little niche. I don't know. So that's that gladiator sport.
Yeah, and like I said, the guy, he was trying to get slick. So listen, if you want to play these games, give me your commissary money. I mean, listen, if I'm gonna attach some things, I'm gonna make it hurt.
Yeah,
listen. Let's say this now. I'm a Christian. I didn't take the man commissary money. I let him eat off his commissary. I did not exercise my lien on it, but I had it, and I let him know. Listen, if this is how you want to play.
You want to play? Then let's play.
You're gonna have to find. You have to be Pookie's bunkmate because you ain't gonna have no money to get nothing out your commissary. But I'm a Christian man, so I didn't do the man like that. But I had it, but I didn't do it like that.
Too, but you reap what you sow.
Yeah,
See,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because he put that on his resume.
Yeah.
And see, and that's one of the things that's missing in our society: consequences.
Yep.
You got the right to speak your mind, but that don't mean it's free from consequences.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand that. You say the wrong thing to the wrong person, you get punched in the mouth. You had a right to say that, but they still gave you a consequence.
Yeah.
Hey, Mondo, is that our Doc Polite, man? I don't see a jacket on.
You don't
Boy.
see. I ain't on camera.
In the dark. Hey.
I just feel like Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. Midnight with Blade.
Yeah,
There
Midnight
you go.
with Blade.
Hey, y'all going back to the comics now. Hey, but
Let me get back off. But hey, let's talk nation. Merry Christmas.
Hey, and you know what? You're absolutely right, Doc. Because we, I guess, Greg, we're gonna save a little time. For the show. Hey, but Greg, Chris Christie, man, talk to me about Chris Christie.
I mean, so listen, man, we're gonna go from one Republican clown to the next. How about that? We're gonna go from Rudy Giuliani to Chris Christie. And the reason why I said, and I shouldn't call him a clown, maybe I call him a court gesture. Because right now, Chris Christie is trying to find someone that he can get behind to go against Donald Trump. And listen, I'm not mad at him about going against Donald Trump. I just think that he should have been genuine about why it is that he was getting in this race from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Chris Christie, now to his credit, he has met every requirement to be on that stage for these Republican debates.
How much longer can he meet those requirements?
I don't think he can meet it.
Does it rise? I mean, the threshold rise?
But listen, is it going to come out, Brother Love? And I don't know. Is it going to come out that the only way or the reason that he's been maintaining and able to stay on that stage is because he's willing to help out Nikki Haley? What if that comes out? Because what is Chris Christie doing that's allowing him to get the numbers that he needs, the money that he needs, and I forget the other parameter that he needs in order to remain on the stage in the Republican debates so that he can stand there and talk against Donald Trump? What if it comes out, Brother Love, that this whole time
he's
been a court gesture for Nikki Haley?
Greg, I like how you say a court gesture.
Listen. I mean, look, think about how he attacked Vivek Ramaswamy, who was really going after Nikki Haley. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
Is he now the pit bull for Nikki Haley, and she's helping him to stay in this race so that he can? Because remember, even after he started, and they asked Nikki Haley, "Do you want to respond?" She was like, "Nah." Why?
Because he already got your
court gesture there.
Right.
So, but listen, aside from that, I like Chris Christie. I think that he is a smart guy. I think he's an entertaining guy. But in terms of, a serious politician and seriously running for president of the United States, I think that the next debate, if they have the next one, that he needs to be off of the stage. I think that the Iowa caucus should be telling for him, and that he should gracefully bow out the way that my doppelganger, Tim Scott, did, with class and grace. And, listen, now is not my time. I'll wait.
So, Greg, this is a good time to educate everybody in terms of who are the folk that are left standing. You have Nikki Haley.
So wait, that ain't how we do it right here.
Go ahead.
That ain't how we do it right here.
Go ahead.
We got the governor of the great state of Florida.
We go first with
nobody.
There you go.
Don't nobody come before the great state of Florida.
There you go.
All right, so we got the governor of the great state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, who is still doing well, all things considered in this race.
Right.
You have Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina, former UN ambassador appointed under Trump, that's still in this race. You have Vivek Ramaswamy, who is Trump 2.0. Right. A businessman who is in this race, who I think personally is the court gesture for Donald Trump, to be honest with you. And Donald Trump said that he won the last debate, because he said that Donald Trump was great or something like that.
But it's clear he's not running for president whatsoever.
Nah.
You're right. He is a jester. But
he is a jester. And then you have, like we were talking about, the former governor of New Jersey, who left with a 14% approval rating, and I love
Bridgegate.
that. Listen, I love that Vivek Ramaswamy called him out on this, and it was hilarious. He was like, your only act of foreign diplomacy was when you shut down the gate between New York and New Jersey. And that's, listen, and so Chris Christie, man, I mean, he's an interesting guy. He's a sharp guy, but he is not a serious contender for president of the United States.
Man, thank you, Greg, for making sure that we did things in order, because you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
We got to pay our deference to our great governor of
Yeah.
the state of Florida.
Yeah, no. Nobody comes over the state of Florida.
So Greg, moving on, man. The office of Senator Ben Cardin.
So listen, if you have kids, listen to the show right now. All right, Let's Talk Nation. If you have kids, listen to the show. We're gonna give y'all 5 seconds to get the youngins out of the room, because we gonna talk dirty for a little bit. And listen, we can do that now because we're not on radio anymore. So
right.
we can say anything we want to within reason. Because my parents listen, I know your mom and everybody's listening, so we don't want to get crazy. But we got to talk a little dirty. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Everybody rushing their kids out, Mondo.
All right, now, so whatever happens at this point, it's your fault. You did it to yourself. But Brother Love, a story came out this weekend, and this is a story: sex, lies, and videotape. And apparently, someone went into a Senate hearing room, the same place where Comey testified about what Trump did, the same place where they had the hearings about Kavanaugh. And this person went in there with his lover, disrobed, and commenced to have sexual acts inside of a Senate hearing room. Absolute ridiculous, Brother Love. And this person was a Senate staffer for the senator from the state of Maryland, Ben Cardin. Now, I'm not mentioning Ben Cardin's name because he's a part of this, because I think that Ben Cardin did the right thing. And I'm mentioning his name because I think that he acted swiftly. Listen, he did a Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
He did a Sean P. Diddy Combs on him. When he heard something happen, he was like, I'm not putting up with this foolishness. And when he saw the tape, or when he heard about the tape about what his staffer had done, he immediately came out and said, this person no longer works for my Senate office.
The right thing to do.
Point blank, period. No questions asked. Now, the person who was a part of this, and it's going to be hard for me to pronounce his name, and I'm going to apologize to his parents. I'm not going to apologize to him. I'm going to apologize to his parents. Because I don't want to, it's their name that they gave to him. But he's a 24-year-old aide by the name of Aiden Mace Seropsky. Ceropsky. Now, y'all do it if you want to. Apparently, I can't do it. And so, again, he went into the Senate room with his boyfriend, and they both disrobed, and they commenced to have sexual acts in this room. Now, his statement after this, Brother Love, was not, which asked me if I was representing what I would have done. I told him to sit down and keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
This is not the time for you to say anything right now. There's no words that you can say. Don't even say sorry right now. Send a letter to Senator Cardin or call him on the phone. He probably won't talk, but send something to him saying, I appreciate the opportunity. I apologize for embarrassing your office. That's it. You don't need to be public about anything. But he sent a public statement on LinkedIn, and his statement said this, Brother Love.
Was it LinkedIn, Greg, or was it Twitter?
My understanding is that it was LinkedIn, but it could have been X too, because X is where a lot of people go and release things. And since speaking of social media, do you know how the particular video got out, Brother Love?
Hang on, it was a video of this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did it get out?
The video got out because after they finished their act of lust, they sent it as a group chat through WhatsApp. He told on himself.
Yeah.
First off, he shouldn't have been in there. Shouldn't have been in there. But then he sends it out to, I guess, his homies. I didn't say homos, but his homies. I don't want people to be confused because I don't talk like that. He sent it to his homies and said, hey, look what we just did. And I guess it's funny, ha ha ha, but it's not. You're 24 years old, and I understand you do stupid things as a 24-year-old, but this is something that you should not have done. And his statement was, if you're going to say something, but his statement wasn't, I apologize for the embarrassment that I brought to my family, to the office, to this country, to the hallowed halls of this democracy. This is something that I should not have done, and I leave with my head lowered, and apologetically ask that you accept my apology, or respectfully ask that you accept my apology. That should have been his statement. His statement was, this has been a difficult time for me. It's about him now. This has been a difficult time for me. I don't know how difficult it was when he decided to walk in there.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
As I've been attacked for who I love to pursue a political agenda. While some of my actions in the past have shown poor judgment, I love my job and would never disrespect my workplace. Now, Brother Love, you're a business owner. If somebody in your office that you employ came in here and just disrobed and just walked through your office with no clothes on, is that not disrespecting the workplace?
That's disrespecting the workplace.
That's disrespecting themselves. That's disrespecting you, disrespecting your family, disrespecting their place.
Quick way to be unemployed too, but
A quick way to be unemployed. Any attempts to characterize my actions otherwise are fabricated. Now, this is a video, Brother Love. Understand what I'm telling you. So he's saying this is fabricated now. And I will be exploring what legal options are available to me in these matters.
But Greg, he already knows. He told on himself by sending that video.
Apparently, this younger generation, Brother Love, they don't understand, like Dr. Polite was talking about, they don't understand consequences. And they feel like when they're caught doing something, that the best thing to do, their best defense, is to blame somebody else. That's the problem with this younger generation. And we were talking to Brother Armando, and we were saying, listen, and Brother Armando, President Company excluded, because Brother Armando is a stand-up guy. He does things the right way, very respectful. But what we're saying is that while we look forward to and appreciate working with younger people and helping younger people to elevate and find themselves in positions of influence, not all young people are ready for that assignment.
You're right.
And this young man who had an opportunity to be in a part of the greatest democracy that the world has ever known, his best way of showing his appreciation for this opportunity was to disrobe. Well, no, let me take a step back. To go into the hallowed halls of Congress, of the Senate, to enter the hearing room where historic events have taken place, to take someone else in there with him, to disrobe along with the other person, and to not only commit sex acts, Brother Love, but to commit sex acts that he recorded and then sent out to other people to show the disrespect that he had for his family, for himself, for his job, for this country, and for the hallowed halls of Congress.
And look at the situation, not only that he's placed himself in, Greg,
Yeah.
but you showed deference to his parents when you were pronouncing his name.
Right.
But Greg, it just didn't affect him. It affect all of those people around him. But the thing that it also did, Greg, taxpayers who I would say were impacted by what he did as well.
No,
you brought something up, Greg, about assignment, and man, I tell you, it's crazy that you mentioned that, because at this meeting I told you I attended in Miami, some of the conversations about being prepared for assignments that come your way, and this young man wasn't prepared.
No, not at all. But let's listen to what another disgraced.
Oh,
But the difference is he's a disgraced former congressman. All right, and we're talking about George Santos. And George Santos, who is also a gay man, a part of the LGBTQ community, his words, I think, speaks volumes, because what he said, he reminded us that this is not about the sexual orientation of this young man. It has nothing to do with his sexual orientation. It doesn't matter if it was, another man or if it was a woman. An old woman, an old man, whatever, a black female, a white female, or what, none of that matters. It was the disrespect that he showed with his actions that matters. And so Santos recently ousted former Congressman George Santos, who is also gay, and I'm reading from an article here, weighed in on the subject, and he posted it on X. And what he said was, having sex in a United States government building and filming it is the reason you got heat. You being gay and having gay sex, no one gives a care about it. That's not what this is about. It has nothing to do with the sexual act. It has to do with where it was. If it was in his home and whatever, nobody cares, and they shouldn't.
Yeah, you're right.
That's your business. Nobody cares. And in today's society, and in this country, unlike any other country, everyone is welcome.
You know what, Greg? It's interesting because you and I don't think we've agreed with what Santos has done the whole time.
That's the most insightful thing he said.
And there's one thing with that statement you just read.
Yeah.
I mean, it hits to the point. So, Greg, I guess he got a little bit of wisdom when it, every now and again.
A little bit.
Every now and
a little bit. But listen, he's absolutely right. And so, to this young man, seek whatever legal advice you need to seek. At the end of the day, I hope that you find the right legal counsel that will tell you that the best thing for you to do is to try to make amends. You're still young, 24 years old. Unless you're Monica Lewinsky, no one's going to remember your name anyway. Well, I don't know. They may not be able to pronounce his name, but they're going to always remember who he is.
You're right.
So the benefit that he has in this case is that no one's going to remember how to pronounce his name. But, you're still young. Take a step back. Be mindful of what it is that you did. Be mindful of what it is why people are critical of what you did. It's not who you are, but it's what you did that people are critical of, which is to do something in a public place. And not just a public place, but a public place that is the symbolism of the greatest democracy, the greatest government that this world has ever known. And I want anybody to challenge me on that. And for you to denigrate that by having sex in that room. And like I said, I don't care if it was a man or a woman that you was with. It was the act of what you did that is being chided at this time.
You're right. Hey man, shit, you make me want to plug Dr. Greg, and I need to go ahead and we need to go ahead and plug this so that everybody knows. But Let's Talk Nation is going to enjoy Christmas, which falls on a Monday.
Yeah.
As well as New Year.
It falls on a Monday.
And so we're going to be coming busting back in 2024, the second Monday in 2024.
Now you know what else happened in 2024? All right. So not only will you have I Got Time Today, but I saw Doc Polite, and I think you'll be proud of this. I saw a snippet of my wife's show. And I'm telling you,
here comes the teaser, y'all.
Listen, man, the way that she came out, the way that she's coming out, man, that is
looking forward to it.
Listen, when I saw it, I was like, there's nothing I can tell you that you hit the nail on the head.
Hey, matter of fact,
hit the nail on the
Doc,
head.
will you let people know how they can contact the LTN network so that and of course, I mean, the show's got to be vetted, but Doc, if you would, let people know how they can contact the LTN network to pitch their show.
Yeah, you can go to atlnetwork.net and sign in down there. Send us a message via the website and everything. It's interesting because we're going to go balls to the walls this coming year and getting this talent out there. It's so many good and talented people out there with voices and speaking on very good issues. And that's what we're looking for on the network.
Hey, Doc, if you would, real quick, if you could just plug and let people know that we're not looking for another Let's Talk Nation. We're not looking for another Love in Real Life. We want to bring additional diversity and uniqueness to Let's Talk Nation LTN network.
Yeah, well, Let's Talk Nation is all about empowerment. Let's call it that. It's an empowerment network, and we're looking for shows and spokespeople who can add something to the conversation that betters people. We don't, if you got a twerk show, we ain't interested in that. If you're living for disparaging folks, we're not interested in that. We want impactful. We want people that come on and teach us about finances, teach us about how to educate our kids, teach us about building wealth, and all of the positive things that make us Central Florida and beyond great communities. That's what we're looking for. This is about empowerment.
You got it.
And now, Doc, that doesn't mean that you can't challenge certain thoughts and concepts at times, but there's a respectful way of doing it too. So,
well, yeah, and in this day and age, guys, we got to remember a lot of people, they just want to have their truth. I mean, look at flat Earth people. I've been following that over the weekend, and it's comical. The theory of flat Earth, but we got all these diverging voices. Mm-hmm. And we have to be careful of what we put out there in association with our brand. Yeah, you can be controversial, but there's a way to be that way. And it needs to be edifying. That's the word I'm looking for. Everything needs to be edifying. You can be controversial, but is it edifying?
And just also another plug, we have the sit down that takes place every Monday from starting at 6:00. And basically the sit down is a show that brings community organizations to the forefront, come in, let people know what it is you're doing. How do they access your services? These are opportunities that LTN Network is bringing before our audience so that, you can be engaged in this conversation. I cannot wait to see. I got time today. Greg, I'm going to be sitting back with some popcorn
Listen,
watching.
man. Yeah.
Hey, Greg, before we move on, there's one last item that I got to ask you about, man, and I saw this across a couple of different news platforms.
Yeah.
UK CEO of an insurance company that is vetting all white males. Help me get my arms around this. Is this all white males at a certain level in the company? And also I saw where if they're not approved by her, I think the second in charge of the company has to approve it.
So you're absolutely right. A UK insurance CEO, Amanda Blank, has said that all white male new hires, there was no restrictions on that. So it's not, only the ones who are in admin, only the ones who are C-level execs, only, the executive staff is this applicable to. All white male new hires have to be approved by her.
Greg, this is up your alleyway. And so when I saw this, the one thing I thought about, Greg, could this ever happen in the United States? Aren't there some, I'm just wondering, aren't there some legal ramifications behind this?
I would say there are. I would say that there are. But more so, listen, I think people do things anyways and they don't announce it. I think the downside for her is that she announced it.
Okay.
And so, this policy of, no white male new hires can be problematic because what that's saying is that it doesn't matter their qualifications. It doesn't matter, any of that stuff. You're not going to hire them unless you personally sign off on them. And then what does that process entail for you to personally sign off on them?
Well, I guess their legal fees are about to go up.
But it's the UK, man. They do strange things over there anyways. They got kings and queens over there. So.
Hey, well, I had to ask you about that. Great, man. We got 4 minutes left, man. And let's spend some time, man, talking about, the blessed, and I'm not even going to call it a holiday. I'm going to say Christmas.
The whole year, man. No, the whole year has been a blessing.
Yeah.
This whole year. And, Brother Love, year after year, as we get older, time just seems to fly by.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, not too long ago, we were sitting at WOKB wishing people a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. And here we are, seems like months later, on our own network, LTN, wanting to wish and wishing to, our 26 million listeners on Let's Talk Nation, a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and Happy Holiday Season, and hope that, that you have, plans for the new year, how you're going to get started and different things like that. But also, don't forget to be a blessing to others. Now's the time to be blessing to others and, think about someone else during this holiday season. So.
Absolutely right. And Greg, man, I just echo your sentiments, man, 100%. We've been blessed, man, and gotta extend. Doc Polite, man, Armando, just the team around Let's Talk Nation, man, has just been excellent, man. And I'm just excited about this branching off into this network.
Yeah.
Man. So Mondo, Doc Polite, and you know what? I gotta mention somebody who started out with us too, Greg, and just have gone to new heights, and that is Nicole Knowles.
Listen, so a lot of folks have been asking whatever happened to Miss Nicole Knowles, and we never explained it.
Yeah.
We never explained what happened to Miss Nicole Knowles. Where's Miss Nicole Knowles, man?
She is a legislative aide for Florida House Representative Doug Bankston, and I might add, Representative Bankston is doing an excellent job, man, with his leadership. But Miss Nicole took on a legislative aide position, man, and Greg, she's doing a great job.
Listen, that's the only way she would have left us. And let me say this, Representative Bankston and I in the past have not always seen eye to eye, but I've seen him in his legislative capacity as a representative grow by leaps and bounds. He has what I believe to be a true heart for community. There's some projects that have come across his desk that I feel that he really and truly has a heart for, and I have nothing but a lot of great things to say about. And it wasn't anything personal. Let's get that straight up front. I've always thought he was a great man. A pastor in the community before he became a commissioner. I always thought that he was great, but we just had some disagreements on some things. But we were always respectful about our disagreements, to the point that he'll pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah, that's
sometimes.
it.
All right,
But
let's
you know what,
talk
Greg?
about it. So,
In the spirit, and I know we down to a few seconds, but
Yeah.
in the spirit of going into the new year, Greg, you just gave a great example about, relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, congratulations to Miss Nicole. We miss you over here on the side. Hope you'll get a chance to talk to us again. Keep doing the great work that you're doing, Representative Bankson. And also, we got to give a special shout out to our other good friend, the mayor of the great city of Apopka, Mayor Brian Nelson. Also,
yeah.
let's, Bishop Stubbs. I hate to start naming people because
you
when
never-
we start, we're going to forget somebody. So, listen, we named a few names. And if we didn't name your name, that's because we got you etched in our hearts.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Well, Greg, man, hey, brother, love you, man. And I say this with all the love, man. Looking forward to a 2024, a great 2024. You do not have to go home
But you got to get out of here.
until 2024 with Let's Talk Nation. We look forward to seeing you doing some great things. Thank you.